they are here as a breeding pair as well, so we do want them to get on as much as possible, of course. Now, the only time we get them together is a mating season, which is going to happen very, very soon, which is very exciting stuff. It happens once a year, and it only happens for 2 days. Very, very tricky window. So, originally we thought it was going to happen in the start of April, but now we think it's actually going to happen at the end of March. So that's exciting stuff. A little bit earlier than expected, of course. But the good thing is, these pandas are already showing lots of signs for the breeding season. Now, Yangguan, he can double his intake of food, so he is eating 40 to 50 kilos of bamboo to himself a day. Yeah, at his peak, he could eat between 80 to 100 kilos of bamboo to himself in a day. And that's to fatten himself up to impress the lady pandas. He doesn't have much competition, mind you. He's absolutely fine that way. But he is looking fantastic, and it's super. Now, they're calling on each other as well. Outside, there is a wall that separates the two enclosures that way, and there's a little metal grid in between the wall. Now, these two pandas can see each other through this, and they can interact together through this as well. So just now they're calling on each other through this, which is fantastic. And yesterday, we had these pandas swapped around. So the female was on Yangguan's side, and Yangguan was in Tiang's side, sorry. They had access indoors and outdoors as well, and that's the first time that the two pandas have been swapped right around as well. And it was very, very exciting stuff. It was great. Now, Tiang was very curious at first. She had a little sniff around, and then she eventually went to sleep. No surprise from Tiang there, to be honest. But Yangguan, on the other hand, he was out there for over 2 hours, constantly awake, and that's good to see him. And he was just constantly scent marking. And the way that males will scent mark is called a panda handstand. Now, what they do is they will go down on their front paws and they'll lift their back ends up against whatever it is they're trying to scent mark. Now, they have scent glands behind their tails, and they have the ability to then urinate up the way. So once they stretch their little back ends up as high as possible, they urinate up the way, and then they rub their little back ends against it as well, and that's scent marking. So the higher he is, the bigger and stronger it makes himself look. So in the wild, if a female came along to the territory and notices this big high scent mark, then she might think, oh great, this is a big male's territory, oh, this is going to be good for me, because they want a strong mate, of course. So he's been doing this all over Tiang's enclosure, and it's fantastic. Now, this little metal grid that we have as well, sometimes when Tiang's facing into it, looking into Yangguan's enclosure, he decides to go and do a panda handstand right in her face. Not the best way to introduce himself. But that's good, because the signs are there, and it's looking more promising than it was last year. It takes them up to about a year to settle into a new enclosure as well, so they are well settled in here. They're doing fantastic. Now, last year we tried to mate them. Basically, what happened was Tiang waited through in her vetting area through the back there, and Yangguan then comes from his enclosure, and that's a tunnel just at the back of the room there, folks. It's nicknamed the Tunnel of Love. Very appropriate. And he's came through there and went in to meet with Tiang. Now, what happened over the 2 days, you're talking they were in with each other about 6 times. And you're talking kind of 10 to 15 minutes at a time with each other. That's it. And then they just separate themselves. So basically, it was good the fact that when the pandas got in together, they got on well together. That was a successful part of it. The unsuccessful part was the fact that we didn't actually get any cubs yet, but Yangguan's getting the blame for not knowing his geography too well. So leave you work that one out for yourself, poor boy. But it can actually take them up to a whole year to settle into a new environment as well. So maybe they were just a little bit nervous last year. Hopefully that was the case, and this year it's looking